Well, I'd say my biggest influence was my mother. My mom was just kind of a hobbyist artist, and but more importantly, she loved to help me develop my creative abilities. So she would sit with me and she would let me just kind of draw and have fun and be creative, and she always encouraged that. And so I think one of the things it did for me is it made me want to teach other people how to do art, but also just to let them also express their creativity. So I get a lot out of that. So this is my 6th year teaching, and I find that art is really personally rewarding, so I feel really fortunate to be able to also teach it. I mean, I love doing art even on my own, so the fact I get to come to work and do more art is a huge thing for me. Okay, well, I do love weird art, and one of the artists I love is Mark Ryden, who has a really great way of combining pop culture with traditional oil painting. And so he has this great juxtaposition of objects and things and pop culture references. And so that appeals to me. I also love Fernando Botero, who has a wonderful style. So there's so many artists I love, but I love seeing what's new and upcoming. So I've found a lot of new artists too who are doing things that are just incredible. Okuda San Miguel is one who I really think his artwork is amazing. It has a touch of surrealism in it. As far as my own artwork, I tend to blend a lot of things similar to that, but my absolute favorite is architecture. So I love drawing it, doing photography, anything basically related to art history, architectural history. Okay, so the road I took was pretty long to get here. I worked for 17 years in the entertainment industry for sound. So I started off as a composer for music, and I was scoring things like things for HBO and for Disney Channel, and it led me into a very specific job called music editing, where you work with a composer and you edit all of the material. So I was working on a lot of different shows over the few years. Some of the big ones were Walking Dead. I worked on House. I worked on Parenthood, a lot of NBC shows, but also films along the way. Was fortunate to have my music even featured in a lot of projects as well. So as a recording artist and musician myself, I was able to put a lot of my own stuff into some of those projects. But it's interesting to come from a Hollywood background to teaching background, and you might think it's a little bit different, but actually there's so much in common. I would work and mentor with so many people along the years to train them in the kind of arts that we do, because there's not really a specific school that's designed to prepare you for the Hollywood industry. There are film studies, and there's all sorts of classes to teach you to be a director, but there's not a class to teach you to be a music editor. So there's a lot of mentoring along the way I've done with different people. And in general, I guess you'd say that my training is kind of sound engineering, basically. So basically all of those experiences are so amazing for me. I feel very fortunate to have done all of those things, but I was ready for a new challenge. And I love working at this school, particularly with teenagers and helping them to develop their creative talents and seeing them just really gain confidence in what they do. So I am really enjoying it here at Rubidoux. Okay, there's a lot of genres I love. So I just say off the top of my head that bossa nova is definitely one of my favorite music of all times. But if you wanted to know maybe any current stuff that I'm listening to, I love Billie Eilish, and who's another? Oh, Christine and the Queens is another band that is amazing. So, or single artist, I guess. But that's what I'm listening to right now. I love animals. I love animals. I am unfortunately allergic to so many of them. So we have to have special dogs that are kind of more hypoallergenic breeds. So we've had a lot of Cocker Spaniels, and now we have a little pound doggy that is a Cocker Spaniel Chihuahua breed. Very, very cute little girl named Phoebe. Well, I would like to encourage all people to take my course. I think at first people are scared to be put into an art situation because most people who come in here say to me, literally, I'm not any good at art, or I can't draw anything. And I want them to know that that's a completely normal place to start. This is a beginning course where you learn the fundamentals. And I know tricks that can teach you to actually draw. So at the end of the year, I convince everyone that they actually can draw, and they can. I think people think artists are this mysterious thing where we just automatically come out of the womb knowing how to draw. And it's actually, there's these skills that we learn through these different drills that we do, and we learn shortcuts and all these things. When we put them together, they look impressive, of course, but it takes some time to build it. So I would just like to say about our art program is that we were really open to all people of all skills, and it's not just drawing in here. I mean, we do talk a lot about art and have these great debates about really what is art and what isn't art, what qualifies for art. So it's a really fun, dynamic class, and I really encourage everyone to try, even if they don't see themselves as being an artist in any way.